everyone. So I'm here today not to persuade you to go out and take action to do something. I'm here more so to persuade your thinking. In our current economic state, we often hear talking heads and in the news and just in financial reports and people talking about financial disparity that takes place and economic disparity between classes. And I'm here today to talk to you about a way that we can change the way we go about economics, and that is to increase our minimum wage standards and increase taxes on the rich. This is a big problem right now because we have almost completely lost our middle class, and the top percent of earners benefit greatly from tax breaks, which is considered a trickle-down economics effect, where if we were to give tax breaks to rich people, they're spending less money on paying their government, and they have more money to put into and invest in the little guys of their company. Well, sadly, this is not taking place. People work 40-hour work weeks and aren't able to make ends meet. And I don't know about you, but the person that serves me at McDonald's is just as important of a person to me as a person that is a manager or supervisor at another company. If they're both working 40 hours a week and supporting their family, they both deserve to be able to do that. Unfortunately, the person that serves me at McDonald's is paid a minimum wage, maybe a little bit more, but the person that's a supervisor somewhere is making enough money that's a livable wage, and they can also take part in recreational things. This is important for our generation because, especially us and the people in this room, we're college students. Some of us are coming back to school, some of us are working to have a career once we graduate, but there's a chance that many of us are working entry-level jobs now and maybe working entry-level jobs upon graduation, assuming you can't find a job in your field making the desired amount of money to make the return on your investment. So a solution to this problem is, like I said earlier, increasing minimum wage and increasing taxes. Luckily, we live in a state that has the second highest the second highest minimum wage in the country, second to Washington, who has a minimum wage of $9.47 an hour. We have a minimum wage of $9.45. But the national average or the national standard is $7.25, and most states that have an increase from that is not that far. So like maybe $7.55 to $8.05 an hour. Here I'm going to show you. This is kind of old, but it still gives you a good look at what it's like. This is a living wage calculator, and oftentimes in economics, or when we talk about these ones. We think of families being 2 adults, 2 children, and in Portland, Oregon, and Multnomah County, a living wage is considered $19.76 an hour. When this calculator was made, minimum wage was at $8.40 an hour. So, and the poverty wage is at $10.60. So even if you're making above minimum wage, you are still living in poverty if you're a family of 2 adults and 2 children. So, So now I want to provide you guys a solution. The governor of Minnesota is actually making big strides in the state of Minnesota to change this. Currently, when he was elected governor in November 2011, he took on a $6.2 billion deficit with a 7% unemployment rate in his state. And immediately he implemented higher tax rates to those that make more money, which in the state of Minnesota, if you're a single person making $150,000 a year, or a couple filing jointly making $250,000 a year, you paid more in taxes. You now pay more in taxes in the state of Minnesota. The tax rate went from 7.85% to 9.85%. He promised to increase the minimum wage from their current standing in 2011 to $9.50 by 2018, and they currently are at $8, which is 75 cents above the national standard. With these things, he also created 172,000 new jobs compared to his predecessor, who only created 6,000 during 8 years in office. The implications of implementing these solutions is he created a $1 billion budget surplus. $1 billion budget surplus, 172,000 new jobs, and anyway, he has proven that by increasing taxes on the rich and increasing the minimum wage in the state, that trickle-down economics doesn't work, and that even though businesses may have to pay more money for their employees, that does not mean that's going to scare them out of their state. So, as I said earlier, I'm not asking you guys to go out and call your senator and make a change, but when you're having these conversations with family members and you're having a conversation, or you're thinking about your own job and your own career, and you are arguing this with other people, think about the implications that would happen if the wealthier people are taxed more, and if we are paid a minimum wage or even